Hey guys, welcome back to the Revive Stronger podcast. I'm your host, as always, Steve Hall, and today I have a men's physique roundtable with Josh Croggon from the UK. He's a pro men's physique competitor, and also Chris Elkins from the US, again, a pro men's physique competitor, both of them winning world titles at the WNBF as well. These guys are at the top of their game. They are elite pros, and we dive into, first of all, why are they choosing men's physique? Why not open men's bodybuilding? We dive into that a little bit, and some of their backstory and competitions, what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, what lessons have they learned. We talk about men's physique as a category as a whole, what do they feel about how it's judged at the moment, what about different federations and how different federations judge it, and we also dig into the natural side of things, testing. What do they think of the testing? What do they think about therapeutic use exemptions? What about use for kind of recovering from injuries, this sort of thing, and whether or not they think many people are trying to cheat and where the testing should go. And then we talk about some of their lowest lows and how they've kind of grown from that, and they continue to compete at a high level and not let some of the failures kind of determine how they're going to be as competitors. So yeah, lots of jumbled discussions and rambles and lots of fun, I think, was what had within this podcast. So I think you guys will enjoy it a lot. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to take a screenshot or a photo, tag myself, Josh, and Chris, and send it across onto your Instagram story. That would be very much appreciated. Share it with anyone you think will enjoy it. Their details will be in the description as always. Do subscribe. I'm looking to do more of this sort of roundtable content in future. Make sure to give us a nice thumbs up, a good rating and review. Appreciate all of that. But without further ado, let's get into today's show. Do you guys just not like training legs? Because why would you choose men's physique otherwise? Josh, what led you to men's physique specifically?
That is a very, very, very good question to start upon, because it's probably the most asked question that I have ever been asked. Why men's physique? What is it with training legs? For me personally, mate, I tore my ACL when I was 18, and I very, casually ripped out all my cartilage with it. Right, and then a year later, after a full year of rehab, I went and did it again. Just because, if you've done it once, you may as well do it twice. So men's physique kind of came to me because I can't go full send on legs. And when prep gets to its its extremity, there's just such a strong imbalance between my right and my left leg. So men's physique, I'm perfect for it.
I think that's a fair reason. That's great.
Yeah, so unlike Mr. Excuse over there, I actually am a pro in bodybuilding. I won my pro card in bodybuilding in 2015, competed at Worlds in 2018. So I just unfortunately, I prefer bodybuilding over men's physique, but I'm just so much better at men's physique. So I just, get in where I fit in and play to my strengths.
Did you ever compete as a pro? Did you say you did pro worlds?
Yeah. I took third place at the Pro Universe in 2018. Competed at Worlds in bodybuilding in 2018 as well, and almost won my IFBB pro card in bodybuilding. I took fourth. You got to be top two at nationals in 2022, right after I won the Worlds in men's physique. So. Still hitting legs twice a week, almost every single week. If something comes up and I have to sacrifice one training day, it will definitely be a leg day, because I'm obviously a lot more competitive in physique. That's where I won Worlds in. So, I miss doing bodybuilding, and maybe one day, now that I'm in masters, that I qualify for masters, maybe I'll hit the bodybuilding stage at some point in the future. But to me, it was just, that's what I'm most competitive in. And if you look at like some of the bigger guys, as a smaller framed human being, it's harder to be super competitive against some of the bigger guys that are like 180, 200 pounds on stage, when I'm like low to mid 140s on stage when I'm completely peeled in bodybuilding. Also, the way I store body fat, my legs hold all my fat to the very end. So by the time that I'm getting like really, feathered quads and like striated glutes, my upper body takes a huge hit in fullness and size. And it's very difficult to, even with a really good peak, it's difficult to bring that back, So it's not, to me, it's not really worth giving up all that size, roundness, fullness, the things that make me a good bodybuilder that I lose when I have to bring my legs in completely dialed.
That makes tons of sense. Actually, I knew you'd competed as a open bodybuilder, but I didn't realize you'd actually earned your pro card as well.
Oh yeah,
So like
2015
clearly
I won my
just
pro
very
card.
competitive all around.
That was so that was first for me, was bodybuilding. I didn't switch till to men's physique until 2019, and it was only because the girl I was dating at the time was going to do bikini, and I did not have enough time to be stage ready for bodybuilding. And I was like, I'll try men's physique. I can be ready in 4 weeks. And and I swept the show, got my pro card, and then lost it was Monster Mash. So you could do amateur on Saturday, pros on Sunday. I went out and celebrated Saturday night because I did so well. Ate a little, drank a little too much, ate a little too much, was a little spilled over, lost by 1 point in the pro show the next day and got second, and was on my way to Worlds. I feel like I was going to win in 2019, and then the stomach thing happened, and my intestines got twisted into a knot, ended up in the hospital for 6 days, lost 6 inches of my large intestine, and I missed Worlds, and but it was okay. It was like, that's life, you go through these hurdles.
Yeah, I guess you are gifted some things with your genetics and with the shape and structure that you have, but then you've had a lot of, I don't know your specific injuries, Chris, but I know you've had a bunch of variety of injuries that have set you back quite a bit.
Yeah. And, I think all of those are just a reminder of how, like, I'm grateful that I can continue on. Like, I'm on my way to do Worlds in 3 weeks. And I had shoulder surgery a year ago, and it did not heal well. So this whole competitive season has been a challenge, like trying to work around that injury and try to continue to challenge myself in the gym while not being able to do certain things. Like I can't do any vertical pressing. Like I can do it, but then I get really bad inflammation where I can't lift my arm up the next day or the next few days. So I've had to be really intelligent about, when can I push and when do I have to pull back? And it's like, it sucks because I like going really hard. And that's like one thing about me is I'm just a very like, I just like really pushing myself. If I do anything, I want to do it all the way. I don't want to do anything half-assed. And that's why a lot of this season is going to be, it's going to really depend. I mean, I don't want to say like my future depends on my placing, because that's like silly. That's not what it's about. If I look as good as I normally look on stage, then I'm for sure I'm going to keep competing. If I look like I've lost a significant step, because right now I really can't. To me, I look great, but I'm in it. Like when you're in this, when you coach yourself and you're in it, you're at the end. It's hard to maintain objectivity. And while I have a lot of great friends that are like, "Yeah, you look great, and I'm like, well, we'll see when I get on stage and I look at pictures from this year to 2 years ago to 3 years ago, and and how I match up with the top guys. I mean, I feel like I match up with Hator really well, so I'm looking forward to that. Adal's looking like a freak right now. Just the whole WMBF is incredible, and I'm very excited to compete with the best guys in the world.
Are you going to be doing Open and Masters then at the Worlds?
I wasn't even gonna fucking do Matt. Can I say that word? Shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even gonna do that. But then I was like, I kind of need a backup plan. What if what if shit doesn't work out? I need to win something. Yeah. So I decided to do Masters as well, but I wasn't planning on it. Shit, that was crazy. Who can I do Masters? I don't know. Yeah. So I'm doing both. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
See,
it's wild.
It's these comments that make me think, is Chris actually 27 years old? Like, you're doubting yourself to do Masters. Bro, if you're over 40, just do Masters.
No, yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I actually asked Tina, the co-owner of WMBF, and I said, hey, they're not going to judge me worse in Open because I'm doing Masters, are they? And she's like, no, of course not. And I'm like, okay, don't
subconsciously though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? These judges,
that's that old guy, Chris.
They're out here hating, like, oh well, because Masters usually goes first, and then Open goes later, right? So if they're like, oh, he won in Masters, we're gonna put him in like third or fourth in Open.
Hey, bro, that could work the other way as well. Oh, I didn't even win at Masters. He's not even going to get him first call out.
Yeah, dude, could be worse, but let's not go there, okay?
On the this is kind of a bit of a random tangent. On the note of judging, Chris, have you judged before? Because I know Josh has. Have you judged shows before?
I despise it. I never want to do it. It's like you're sitting there, it's so long. At this point, though, I've emceed like 6 shows, so I enjoy that.
Oh, right.
I think that's exciting. I like being able to talk to the people and kind of try to get the crowd going, get them more involved in it. I feel like that's something that we're lacking is we need more enthusiastic MCs at these shows.
Yeah, that's fair. I was
Well,
just
I
going to
don't want
ask
to judge. It's tough.
if
It's a tough.
judging, I can ask Josh though, for judging, did that change your perspective after judging? Like, did you feel like you got something different as an athlete or as a coach?
I think so. Like I feel like when I first did my stint on the judging panel, the classes were a little bit more clear cut. And then I feel like over the last 18 months, I think with the introduction of Classic, I think that's kind of like changed things a little bit. It's made it even like a very, very subjective sport, even more subjective. Like
I see
with
what you're
men's
saying.
physique now, there's almost like there's no kind of upper limit of how big someone can be.
Yeah, they
It's
a
just
phrase that
changed
comes
a
to mind
lot.
is bodybuilders in board shorts. Kind of is a bit of a phrase that comes to mind because they're looking for the big bubbly muscles now that like bodybuilders often own.
Yeah,
Those guys
but
weren't
then you
doing as
get
well
then you
before.
get
I agree with you. I think you know, this is what's interesting about exactly what you just said. So in 2023, I mean, I wasn't at my best, so I don't want to say like, oh, you know, but I talked to the judging staff and I was like, what, you know, what are you guys looking for? I haven't taken an off season in a long time. Obviously, I'm not going to get any bigger without taking an actual off season. But you know, they kept saying things like, well, you're pretty much as big as we want you to get. And then the only people I get beat by are guys bigger than me in 2023. And I'm like, wait a minute. You said don't get any bigger. And then the guys that beat me are all significantly, no, I don't want to say significantly bigger, but I mean, you know, clearly you said that you weren't looking for bigger, and then that's what won. So it's just interesting, you know. Maybe it's just the division evolving, but I mean, I think there should be a limit. Like I think at a certain size, even if you have a small waist, you still like if your back is ridiculously big, you probably shouldn't be doing men's physique. Like, you know, I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree. I remember when I first turned pro, I got asked the question. I can't remember who, it was by another pro. Or do you think that they should have weight caps in men's physique? And at the time, I was like, hell no. Like
Right.
us boys, we can't get we can't get big enough. And then it's like 2, 3, 4 years later, it's like,
Right.
damn, maybe we should have introduced something earlier on to keep
Yeah.
men's physique what it was made for.
I just think it's hard to do weight caps simply because frames are different. Height varies, you know, in the classes. Like I see guys competing in short class that to me look taller than guys in the medium class, and then I'm like, and vice versa. Now there's like a what is it? Is there like a tall and then a super tall or something? You know, because they have so many
Yeah.
now worlds. Um, yeah, I don't know, you know. And then, well, I remember I'm trying to think what year it was, 2022 or 2023. Maybe it's 2020. Either way, your condition. Oh, it was 2021 or it was 2023. Your conditioning was just insane, and I was like, that's probably the limit. Like, you probably shouldn't get any leaner than that for men's physique, Josh, because you get absolutely peeled. So what do you think about that? Do you think that there should be a limit to that as well?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I was told 2023 that I was on the cusp of being too
Agreed.
shredded for men's physique.
Yeah,
And
that's the
then
year
and
you
then
won, right? 2023, you won.
yeah. And then a
Yeah,
year later, you see some of the guys that are placing really highly, and they're way leaner than what I were. Like, you know,
I
you
don't know
said
about
at the
way
start,
leaner because you were
I've
pretty.
never had my glutes in. I don't think my body's really good at tapping into fat stores on my arse, but I've never
Mhm.
had like striated glutes. So I would always say like, all right, well, that kind of makes sense. You don't want me any leaner because if my glutes are in, then surely I fit into bodybuilding.
Right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, there's a sweet spot that I think men's physique is, and I think the last 12 to 18 months we have lost what that sweet spot is. I don't know if either of you saw it, but
I
there was a
agree.
show
I
at the
actually agree with you.
weekend.
I agree with you a lot.
Yeah, there was a show at the weekend in Germany, and
The
I
Wahala Pro.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't tell you what correlation there's been with that show versus any other WMBF show this year. Like the
So,
placings were not what I would have guessed based off of other shows,
well, the
and
interesting thing about, so I mean, you and I both know that. I don't know, Steve, if you know the WNBF men's physique division. I mean, we know of the competitors for the most part, and so Adao took the overall, and I love Adao. I think he's such a great guy, but I think that his back is too big for natural men's physique. Like I think his size and hardness is over the top for natural men's physique, but they awarded he won the overall. And winning the overall at the Valhalla, it's literally the last big international pro. Normally it is. I don't know the schedule this year, but normally it's the last big international pro show before Worlds. And some of those judges are going to be judging at Worlds. So it's a pretty big deal. You know, like um Pedro ended up winning that, and then he goes on and that 2023 or 2022 he didn't do as well. But either way, normally the person who wins that is going to do really well at Worlds unless something goes wrong with their peak or whatever, you know. And same thing like Dario, who's probably one of the biggest men's physique guys, ended up third, and I think that makes sense.
The UK, right, Dario?
Yeah. No, he's from Spain, right?
Yeah.
He did the WNBF UK.
show.
Oh yeah, I judged at the UK show, so.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I know some of these. Yeah.
And I think he knows this. He has to get super lean because he's too big. If you're that big, you have to get leaner. And if you're not, you could like come in not as lean if you're not as big, but because of his proportions, he needs to get. And it was just like the vegan guy who competed in the short who won in 2019, I think. It's the same idea with him. He's too big. So in order to fit into the category, he needs to get super dialed in and super lean. It's the only way that his proportions are going to work. And I have the same issue. If I'm like 98%, I can lose to people that maybe don't have as good aesthetics simply because if I'm not lean enough, the proportions are not right. So it's interesting, you know, but now, and I see so they put Dario in third, but then they have even bigger guys that they're awarding now, like in the short, like, but again, Adao came in as lean as you possibly could be. I mean, I've never seen him look that hard before. His waist looked super small. He looks like a freak, but I still think it's too big, but that's just my opinion.
It's super interesting. It's funny you mentioned 2023 because that might have been the year that the WNBF changed their criteria a little bit. I remember there was a time where, as judges, we were awarding smaller physiques, basically. That classic V-taper, small waist, kind of more.
Yeah, at least in the pro category.
Like this insane genetic freak beach body, but more like a smaller physique versus, then it became just like as big as bodybuilders. Which is interesting because you often see the kind of enhanced side kind of come down to the natural side, and that's what happened in the enhanced side, right? They're just like, rewarding bigger, leaner bodies within classic and within men's physique, and it kind of dwindles down.
So now that IFBB is going back to slightly smaller, at least, because they want a more, they want to differentiate more between the classes. So like, Ryan Terry is huge, but he's not the biggest men's physique guy. They have bigger guys for sure. But they award him because of the balance, and like now they've added the weight caps. And I mean, I just think you have to get your judges on board and say, this is the look we want, and then go with that. And, obviously we're pros and we should have muscle and we train hard. But again, it shouldn't be the same guy that wins men's physique shouldn't also be able to win classic and bodybuilding, or you have something wrong with your criteria, right?
Yeah, because Max at the Valhalla Pro won the pro bodybuilding. He's also a pro men's physique, is he? Would he, if you put him in some board shorts and threw him on with the rest of the pros, where would he be stacking up? He wouldn't be winning, would he?
He'd have won.
Oh, would he?
Won.
Okay.
He won the Valhalla as a men's physique pro last year. So in back-to-back years, he's won.
I didn't realize that happened.
And then bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean that says quite a lot, doesn't it?
That for me says absolutely everything with what's wrong with men's physique on the natural side of things at the minute. There's not a clear difference between men's physique and the other classes.
Yeah,
because Max is that epitome, small waist, broad shoulders.
Right. Sometimes you have a guy who's just an incredible specimen who could fit into all three. I mean, look at my guy Nelson. But the thing is, Nelson wouldn't beat guys in bodybuilding because he's just not big enough yet. Maybe one day. But and so I think he fits really well right now. My client, I don't know if you've seen him before, Nelson Moran, but he's a pro in all three. But obviously he was most competitive in men's physique. But now I think now that we have classic, I think that'll be probably the category that he'll be most competitive in because he has really strong quads. But yeah, what Josh is saying, it's like if the guy's big enough to win bodybuilding, then he should be too big for men's physique, right? I mean, that's like that should go without saying, I feel like.
Yeah. And the classic class is interesting because it's that stronger scoring, or the weighting of scoring actually goes towards presentation and posing, which you don't have in men's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there'll be some bodybuilders that can do that, but there'll be some.
I think it's good financially that the WNBF has added classic. I mean, I've been saying it for years, and Bob finally said, "Okay, Chris, you were right," which, I mean, felt nice to hear that, but that wasn't what
you were the poster boy.
Yeah, well,
he created it. He told Sebum to do a classic, bro.
Yeah, that's
Chris
what I
been
said.
around that long.
No, but I did tell Bob, I said, listen, Sebum is the most popular bodybuilder in the whole world. You need classic physique because you have guys going to the OCB, you have guys going to NPC or NPC natural or whatever, just because they want to do classic physique. So us not having it is just losing out on natural athletes who, again, imagine they go to the NPC, they don't do well, then they're like, well, I got to take steroids. Or they could have found a home in the WNBF and competed naturally and continue to grow their physique naturally. So even though I honestly don't think the category is necessary for natural bodybuilding, it was necessary because of the world that we live in. That's all. That's the reason why it was necessary. But can we just say that this side chest pose is terrible? Like, what is this? Why do we do like? That's the only pose that I just think is just so unnecessary. Can we just do a normal side chest, or even one like this is fine? But why does it have to be like? I don't know what this is.
It's just more classic, bro.
Is it? I've never seen anyone do them all.
One photo of Arnold doing it, and therefore it's classic.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever seen is one picture of Arnold doing this. Like, it doesn't look good.
You guys are definitely right, though. I think it's an issue on the female side for the longest time, where there was too close between categories. Like, what's the difference necessarily between these bikini girls are coming in just as lean as like fit body and getting rewarded? And that needed, again, it comes to the judges to be clear about rewarding the right physiques and not the wrong physiques on the day. But yeah, it has to come top down. So it's interesting. I didn't necessarily expect the chat to go this way.
Nice.
So a question I had, and I don't know, Chris, how many different federations you've moved between, if you have, or if it's always been the WNBF. But I know Josh this year, because I've been listening to you on your own podcast and discussing kind of the different criteria and placing differently and kind of being a bit lost with that. And I know your perspective maybe has changed on this. I think you've originally quite liked the fact that you could maybe go to one fed and kind of it was more suited to your physique and others not so much. But I don't know if you flipped and you feel like it would be nice to have just a standardized criteria across federations.
I have kind of changed. I've not changed too much. Like, I'm not kind of like going, oh no, stick to the federation that you know that you're going to get rewarded. Like, for me this year, I've competed in 3 different federations. Well, technically 4. So I did the MBW, which is UK FBA, and every single show has gone for something that's very, very different. But I think for me personally, it's important that I go and do these things because I feel like there's quite a lot of people that, you know, have similar physiques to me. I feel like I've almost done it as like a bit of a guinea pig to go and see how my physique does on behalf of other people. And I've got no issue with that because I've gained loads and loads of experience by doing it. And there's been a great amount of enjoyment in, you know, if you followed the podcast, I'm sure you've seen me try and, like, you know, create a little bit more hype around things. But how this year I've gone up against Jovan and Reese Kiffin on 2 different stages with very, very different criteria, and we've all basically placed in different spots. That's had an element of drama and, like, I don't know, it's made it so exciting. And, like, we're all wanting to put our best physique on stage relative to ourselves rather than the criteria. And it's made the battles every week interesting to watch. Whereas if you've got federations that are all the exact same, it's boring. You know, you're going to get the same 1, 2, 3 every single week. Like, where's the kind of like jeopardy, or, you know, where's the talking points from that? It's just like, oh yeah, exact same result as the week before. Oh yeah, exact same result as the week before that. There is an element of like, yeah, just being excited and looking forward to things rather than expecting things. So in a way, yeah, my opinion's changed. In another way, it's solidified my own thoughts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it both ways because it makes me think of like bodybuilding is pretty black and white, like the biggest, most shredded guy, symmetry, of course, and Max. If you look at him, to bring up Max again, our guy from Germany, he's just gone and basically, I don't know if he's lost a single show. He's basically gone and won everything he's done. It looks
He got beat by Bobakar.
Oh, of course he did. Yeah,
but I guess we'll let him off with that. That's fine.
I know how that feels. Yeah.
Right.
Babacar is a special rematch. Yes, at Worlds, assuming they both do that. Max has been, I don't know, he's been competing a long season, but I imagine they keep going.
I feel like Max has earned about 30,000 euros in prize money. I'm sure he can afford to go to the Worlds based off of that.
But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think he hasn't stuck to one federation either, has he? The AMBF literally the day before the WMBF just this past weekend. So yeah, but men's physique is a little bit more, and maybe that is an area where they can.
Yeah, it's a little more subjective for sure.
Subjectivity,
less black and white, more gray area. You know, you could have two athletes, and see the thing that Josh mentioned about competing with different criteria in different organizations adds excitement when it's two guys. That's assuming, I mean, we're professionals. That's assuming that the two guys show up at their best on both occasions or peaked perfectly on both occasions. There's also that element as well that you never know. I mean, I know my body pretty well, so rarely do I come in off, but 2023, I think I was super stressed and there was so much going on, and I definitely didn't bring my best to the stage that year. So, that's always gonna, can you be your best on that particular day is also quite important as well.
Yeah, for sure. Josh, go for it.
Having had that battle with these boys, that it's almost forced me or made me want to push myself to another level with it. Yeah. It has made me so much more of a better athlete. Like there's been no missing. As soon as we had that first battle, it's like, right, no matter what, I'm not missing for the next show, and none of us missed. All of us improved, and then it was different criteria, different placings. Honestly, mate, it's been wild.
Was the posing the same or posing different too?
Slightly different. The only federation that we've not done together is NPC, so we've not done a front and back. It's been, quarter turns or the PCA variation where you've got overhead as well as
right,
hands below shoulders.
To PNBA.
Yeah.
Do you like that posing or not? I just think it's a little silly.
I think my men's physique purist within me is it's front and back, because the IFBB made men's physique.
Correct.
And that's the posing that they do. So that
I don't
purist
mind that. Sides. I think that's doing the quarter turns, I think just adds a little bit more, makes you have to figure out your angles on all four sides opposed to just front and back, which is usually more like front and side anyway for some people. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Or sorry, back and side.
My selfish athlete brain is PCA posing's the best. So that is, your normal quarter turns, and then it's left hand overhead, both hands be essentially a rear double, one hand overhead again, and then an abdominal shot to finish.
Yeah.
It's more thorough.
The NBA has you do front double bicep and I think that's
side chest
absolutely ridiculous.
That's just a little bit too on the extreme.
As a judge, it always throws me when they do at the end, when everyone comes on and has a pose off and guys are hitting, they're bringing up their shorts and showing off their quads. And I'm just nah, there's something weird about it. Not that that's judged, of course, but I'm just it completely throws me. So I'm with you guys. A few more poses is nice, but not just, front double bicep. Keep that to the bodybuilding, I think.
That's it.
And obviously classic. So, you I don't know if we've mentioned that, Josh, obviously you're a pro. Chris, we've mentioned you're a pro, and both of you have won WMBF Worlds, and I think it would just be great to kind of recap that a little bit.
I was going to say that. Okay. Chris, don't worry. Chris is better than me.
No, that year. I just had to feel, I'm a lot closer to the end than Josh is, though.
Yeah, I mean, to hear that you turned pro in 2015, my head's like blown because I first competed in 2014. So
Did you? I'm sure you saw it. Alberto Nunez post the other day about it was a beautiful monologue. It was like some training montage footage, and then it was like, um, if you've done anything at a high level, you must know there is no happy ending. And like, man, I mean, the whole career is a happy ending, but like, I mean, fuck, man, that shit hit me hard. I was like, God, I'm a lot closer. I've been competing since 2013. This is Muscle Mayhem will be my 35th show, I believe. So, um, I've won 10 pro physique shows in the WNBF. It's like I am now closer to the end than I was to the beginning. I don't know when the end is, but I believe that's true. I mean, you can only be in your prime for so long, and this injury has just been just terrible for my mental health. Like I enjoy training because it's like it's somewhere I can really push myself and I can go all in. And to now be like feeling so limited, like literally came to a shoulder press, like that's crazy. But then the even crazier part is that I feel like when I pose, I still look the same. So I that the nervousness and excitement that you said you feel from doing a different organization is kind of how I feel after not competing last year, because I've been competing every single year. And then so now so it's been 2 years since I competed, and how I place at this Muscle Mayhem this Saturday is gonna be very telling about like probably how I'll do at Worlds. Like, because I feel like I'm pretty dialed. I'm like within a couple pounds of my normal Worlds weight, and we're still 3 weeks from Worlds. So I actually haven't eaten anything today. I'm trying to decide, do I want to start depleting today, or do I deplete Tuesday, Wednesday, or do I do all straight Monday through Wednesday? I don't want to, these are things I haven't thought about in 2 years. So it's a big week for me. And then I have so many things going on and so many distractions and other hobbies and like pursuits of excellence that it's like, do I still need this? Do I need to be the world champion? No, maybe not. But do I really want to? Fuck yeah, I really do want to do my best, So I don't know. We'll see. Also, first time competing locally in over 10 years. Every show I have to do, I have to fly. This is or drive really far. This is the first show that is at hometown. So I'm excited about that as well.
So did you do 22 and then 23?
Yeah, I did
And then
2023.
you've been off since.
I competed with a torn shoulder. And I it was a good season. I lost only one. I took second in the Nat Pro Universe to my client Nelson. I just wasn't lean enough. Then I won the Washington show. It used to be, I've won that 3 times. I won Monster Mash 3 times, and then I went to Worlds and I just didn't peak perfectly. I was just slightly off, and the guy who won was going to win no matter how good I looked. He looked incredible. The Korean guy, Seb. I didn't really, the second and third place, I thought second, third, fourth, I thought it could have been any of us. I just didn't necessarily agree with second or whatever. I think Kyle looks great, but I was surprised, but they liked him a lot. And anyway, so that was that. Then I went and got surgery. It took a while, so I didn't even get the surgery till end of March. And in my head, I was like, oh yeah, I could come back from this so quick. I might even compete this year. And that was just so off. Like it just never healed. I got an MRI recently a few months ago, and it's torn worse than it was before the surgery. And then everything was super tight. So it just didn't. So 2014, I had surgery on this one for a torn labrum. It healed up, and I won my pro card in 2015. This one, I had surgery last year and just has not healed well. So it's just been a battle this entire off season between dealing with really bad inflammation and range of motion. Everything feels really good right now, but I've had to like reduce training volume a little bit, reduce training intensity on certain movements a lot, change certain angles. Like I can't even do a lat pull down straight like this and come out or like come down. I have to like lean back and angle it and do everything kind of neutral. And yeah, it's just changed a lot of things. Found out that the long head of my bicep tendon is partially torn as well. It's like, well, how long has that been? I don't even know. That's what the MRI said. So yeah, getting old is for the birds. So stay young. Josh, how old are you?
The body.
I am 28 years old, and you talk about like, you being close to the end. I feel like I'm not so far away.
Bro, 28.
Like,
you got,
yeah,
I did my first show at 28.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did my first show in 2019. I'm competing on Saturday as well. That will be my 23rd show.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Long time
every
managing that.
time I've competed, I've always done a good run. Never done a one and done season.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Me either.
Yeah.
Josh,
But,
yours was,
go on.
sorry, just a button. At Worlds, you took your class in 21, then you didn't take the overall in the end, though. Is that right?
So I wore it. 21 was my first Worlds that I did. I placed third. And then 2 years later, I won my class. And according to the judges, I placed second in the overall because the
I
guy that
love
won,
the
he was
2021
so
vlog.
good.
The Vegas vlog was so good.
Because you featured in it, mate.
Is that
giving
why?
me what was the treat? A Muddy Buddy? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, Muddy Buddies.
Oh,
are
yeah, they're
delicious.
good.
Yeah, they're good.
So 23 was the year that Chris, so you guys didn't see each other in the overall at Worlds in that year?
Nah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
How did
sorry
that feel
to the
for you, Chris?
backstage.
Yeah.
Like,
2021
going from
was really fun. That
winning
was in Vegas, and
Yeah.
that's the year that I should have won the overall. The robbery.
Did you-
One point against Pedro, and then Pedro goes on to win. And I just, his posing wasn't even standard. It wasn't, I don't know. It was, I lost a lot of sleep thinking about Pedro for an entire year, and then came back and won the whole thing in 2022.
Josh, I don't think it's on the cards for you this year, is it, Worlds? WNBF?
No, it's
So
not.
you won't be clashing.
Oh, I didn't
have
know that.
I have a really weird brain. If I've done something, I've done it. I don't have the love and drive to go and do it again. So
what's your plan on November 22nd and 3rd?
Well, 23rd is my fiance's birthday, so we'll probably be going out for some food. But I will not be in LA. I've got one more show left in me this year, and then I'm wrapping it up and heading into an off season.
Damn.
And then you
for
don't.
sure.
Do you have plans? Like, have you already thought about? Because you mentioned you feeling like you're near the end. Have you got plans of like future seasons, or are you taking like an extended off season at this point? How are you feeling?
I plan on, so fingers crossed if all goes well this weekend, I will receive my IFBB Natural Pro card. And if that happens, then I'll definitely be doing one more, because I'd very much like to, try and get to a Ben Weider. Sorry, not even try. I want to win a Ben Weider, right? That's the big thing that I'm like, right, okay, what's going to get me out of bed every morning? What's going to like light a fire under my arse every single moment of every single day? And for me, it's going for a Ben Weider rather than another world title.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
So,
Okay, but let me ask you: Do you think that the majority of the people that compete in Ben Weider are actually natural?
not bothered. I plan on beating them all anyway.
That's not what I asked. Of course, yeah,
I know, but it's not a thought. I don't care if they are natural or not.
yeah.
Natural to who? It's relative to the federation, isn't it? If they've
Right.
got their
Their
own,
3-year.
yeah, if they've got their own rules, then that's their rules. I've done loads of federations that have, their own version of natural or their own version of testing. I don't really think about that. I'm more focused on, what can that win give me? And
Right.
if it's Olympia qualification, then they can be on gear. I will will try even harder.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great mindset. I don't disagree with you. You're always looking for that next Mount Everest.
Yeah.
On the note of testing, actually, where are your guys' heads with it? Do you like certain like obviously at the WNBF, they have they polygraph everyone before stepping on stage, and they have that. There's obviously some people that love that, some people don't so much. I think obviously it's not perfect, but from my perspective, it's at least an initial step of like cleaning out the rough a little bit. Some people are going to be not trying it because deterrent, exactly. Actually, I should have Bob on the podcast at some point to talk about testing in depth with the WNBF, which would be fun, because I think there's so many misconceptions over like even polygraphs and failing those, and a lot of people look at it as like very black and white, whereas I think there's like everything shades of grey there. And then some federations, I mean, they only test maybe the top 3, if that, or maybe they randomly drug test someone else. Do you guys have any feelings towards the testing you'd ideally like to see?
I think how the WNBF do it feels right. There's like you say, there's a deterrent. There's some kind of like filtration system for people competing, like stepping on stage initially, and then legit drugs testing for everyone that then places. That just feels right. I'm really not a fan of. I don't want to incriminate myself too much. Actually, I'm not going to speak. Chris, what's your thoughts on drugs testing?
I agree. I think the polygraph's a good deterrent. I think maybe there could be some more random off-season drug testing here and there. I just know it's expensive. Everything costs money, and as a promoter myself, I just promoted the NorCal Natural Show. I know all of that stuff is expensive. So, but it's so important for our sport, and if anything's on the line, whether it's ego or pride or whatever, there's going to be people that are going to cheat. So, I think it's important to try to catch them.
Yeah, I'm quite often shocked. I don't know, you see it on social media all the time. You see people doing outlandish, wild things, and then like to think that no one's going to try and cheat a drug test. I'm like, of course they are. In my world, no one would, but I can see why.
Yeah, it's not even a lot of money
strange
involved,
individuals. No, exactly.
For sure,
there are plastic trophies.
100% that are cheating, right? There's even in the WNBF, which I think is probably the most natural version of all of these. There's still got to be some people that are cheating. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't like to think it, but it must occur just by I don't know, just averages and all of that. When you think about just statistically, someone's gonna have got through somehow. But,
I'll tell you this though. I think being injured, I would have loved to have been able to take certain peptides, but they're it's extensively prohibited.
Sure.
Like if I could take BBC 157, that might help me quite a bit. Reduce inflammation, gut health, everything. And so the fact that these things that are not anabolic at all are still on a banned substance list I feel like that's a little bit unfair. Like I'm less healthy because I'm natural than if I would be not worried, not concerned, or if I wasn't competing anymore. I would take BBC 157 at the very least.
Like therapeutic use exemption type of things for injuries.
Yeah, it's not, again, like I said, it's not anabolic. So it's not helping me build more muscle. It's just keeping me functioning, as an athlete.
What about the GPL-1 agonists? How do you guys feel about if those?
Yeah, definitely. I am against those. I think that's if you can't take Adderall and other stimulants to help with fat loss, then you shouldn't be able to take these things that completely eradicate your hunger hormones. That's not right.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of I don't know. It just feels so wrong. Like as soon as you even posit that question to me, I'm just like, you just remove the role of hunger. I can also see there being issues post-show. That'd be quite a helpful thing for a lot of people transitioning into off-season. I think
then it'd be very difficult to differentiate between on-season, off-season. I feel like you just have to say no.
Just have to blanket. Yeah. I believe that's the route they've gone down because I don't think WADA have banned it, but I think the WNBF have their own.
I think it's already a little dicey with even allowing the therapeutic use exemptions for Adderall because it's not like you can stop the side effect of not being hungry. Like you're let's say you need it for work because you're you're ADHD and you have a hard time focusing, so you take Adderall because it's prescribed to you. It's still an advantage, right? Like it's still clearly going to be an advantage to the people that take it. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually don't really know much about Adderall at all. I'm
it's a very American thing.
Yeah, is that what it is? Especially in colleges, it's super common, and people will use it for a variety of things: for partying, for studying, for weight loss. Like it's
sounds like a great time.
It's pretty strong.
But it does bring out it's an interesting question of what counts as natural or not, and what is natural versus not, because it's some people would argue taking any supplement is suddenly unnatural. It's the body produces testosterone. Why can't you
what's
have
funny
that?
I feel people often ask me oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm the natural world champion, whatever, right? And tell them what I do, and they're like, well, so do you lift weights? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, that's not natural. I'm like, what do you mean it's not natural? lifting weights. Like, what am I supposed to just? Everyone just shows up and they're not allowed to lift weights, not allowed to eat
How were you
protein.
born?
Can you imagine? It's just a genetics competition.
On that note, I'd be interested to ask. I'll ask you first, Josh. What's kept you natural? Like, what have you ever considered going enhanced?
Yes, I have had many thoughts about it. When I was 16, I've had a video on Instagram go pretty viral from this, so I'll tell the story. When I was 16, I trained at a gym in Rotherham that is where all the big dogs train. You know, we've got Olympia athletes, and one of the guys in there said to 16-year-old Josh, "What supplements are you taking?" And that week, I had just started taking creatine, and he was like, you see, problem with creatine, it gives you water retention, and it's not that cheap." I was like, "What are you talking about? It's cheap as, and what water retention? What are you talking about?" He was like, "What you need to take is Dianabol." So I was like, "All right, okay, what's that?" And he was like, "Well, it's basically the same as creatine. It just helps you build muscle."
Yeah, no water
So I was like,
retention in
"Oh,
that either.
yeah, yeah." I was like, "All right, sweet. How much is it?" And he was like, "Oh, it's, I don't know, what, 15, 20 quid." I was like, "Oh, it's not bad. I'll buy some." He went, "Well, I've got some in the car if you want some." I was like, "Yeah, go for it. I'll give you the money." So then finished training with my little tub of D-bol. And on the bus on the way home, I was Googling what it was. And I was literally sat there on the bus like, I've got class A drugs. I'm going to go to prison. I'm going to go to hell. My dad's going to kick me out. Like, life is over. And I saw like a Reddit feed talking about Z's. And someone was like, "Yeah, he defo took D-bol." I was like, "Oh my God, Z's are dead. I'm going to die if I take this." So I got home and literally poured it down the toilet.
It's powder?
And no, it was like little tablets, little
Oh.
blue tablets.
Yeah,
And
I've never actually even
and
seen steroids. Isn't that crazy? Like, obviously, I've seen, like, someone had TRT, but I've never actually seen I didn't even know if D-bol was, like, a pill or a injectable.
yeah, it's a pill. But yeah, that would have been my moment to go enhanced without even realizing that I was going enhanced. So just doing that little bit
Okay.
more research, and yeah, and then obviously a few years after that, I tore my ACL playing football, and I was like, my legs, one can step on stage, and the other one looks like it belongs to a sparrow or something. It was very like the muscle had gone, and I like kind of like asked myself, "Oh, could I maybe go enhanced?" Um, and then I think it was around that time that, like, you know, I started taking a little bit more interest in the world of bodybuilding, and I thought, "Oh no, the natural route sounds like a more appealing one to me." You know, genetically, like my family have like a strong history of heart conditions, so it didn't really marry up. It didn't make much sense in the long run. So I just kind of parked that. Thought, no, thought about it a couple of times. I'm not going to do it. The natural route sounds more aligned with me. And, you know, we're 10 years down the line now, and I'm really, really proud of the younger version of me for making those decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Nice.
think that's a nice story as well, actually, and it's actually highlights. And I don't know if it wouldn't be as common now, because I think now more people are aware of enhancements versus supplements and all of that. But I'm sure there's still young, impressionable kind of kids really who
Well,
are
I
jumping on
think now
stuff and
it's not
unintentionally.
I think the same thing happens now, but it's not D-bol, it's like SARMs and peptides and stuff, you know? But
Sure.
10 years ago, it was probably pro hormones, or maybe more than 10 years now, but it was like, you know, a lot of people you could go to GNC, get pro hormones, and it's technically these are banned substances, but they were selling it. And then, you know, and then now it's SARMs and peptides. You know, people are just
Yeah.
giving up their natty status without even realizing, you know, that how serious it is if they would want to compete naturally later or whatever. You know, it's kind of a shame. And there's so many influencers now to me, this is what I think. Under the veil of transparency, they're promoting drug use. And I think it's important to be transparent, but you shouldn't be encouraging because at the end of the day, it's definitely encouraging younger audiences to use steroids. I mean, these are still steroids.
I think I probably do agree, unfortunately, that I like the transparency because I just like honesty and transparency. I think that's probably the
Same, I
best
do too.
policy. But in the same regard, when you share that level of depth of like, this is my whole stack and this is how I look, it's similar to me sharing my training or my nutrition. Like I can still put on their disclaimer of like, this is my training volume, this is my like macros, but there'll still be people that'll be like, oh, like, I don't know, this person's following this, they've got a great physique, so I'm going to like try it out. And yeah,
Yeah,
you're in
and if you
tricky
think about the amount of people
territory with
that are
PDs.
exposed to fitness accounts and fitness pages that actually don't know much about fitness or competing or bodybuilding or anything, they just see images or videos or reels, that they've doom scrolling and somehow it pops up because one of their friends liked it or whatever, and then they see this physique and they're like, oh, they look crazy. What do I have to do to look like that? And then they say, well, here's what I'm taking. And they list all these steroids or peptides or SARMs or whatever. And then they see another person that looks great, but they're like, oh, it doesn't look quite as good. But they don't realize that person's natural and this person's enhanced. I think that's just a major issue with our industry in general. To answer your question, I never really considered steroids. I didn't start competing until I was later, like 28, and I was never around like meatheads or people that were using steroids. My first exposure to natural bodybuilding was through Matt Ogus's Matt versus Mayhem, and he filmed it, I think, in 2011. I watched it in like a few videos here and there in 2012, and then I just reached out to the same coach that he used, 3DMJ, and that was the start of my journey. Like, it's just like very organic,
That's
and
wild.
yeah, the first thing I ever found was it was like 2011. I was like, I want to get in shape, and I found Kino Body that led me to like the Hodge twins and Martin Berkman or whatever his name is, the IF guy. And then through, just I think Matt Hogus had done like a reaction video to something. And then that's how I found him. And then Chris Jones. And then here we are today. It's crazy, really. Now I made a
That was
career.
my avenue. My avenue into it was Matt Ogus as well. I saw him compete and I was like, I want to look like Matt, and he does it naturally. Like,
Now he
I'm going
lives
to go
10
through,
minutes from
do the
me.
same
It's like,
thing.
what a
Yeah.
crazy world,
That is a wild journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, Chris, you've got a bit of a different perspective potentially because your son is in and around like an age where he's maybe a bit, he's getting into the
So
gym,
my son
right?
actually just competed for the first time at my show, the one I promoted, just 2 weeks ago, and
He won.
He
well,
won
he
the
was only
overall. He's the
Yeah.
youngest pro ever.
No, I'm so proud of him. I mean, during COVID, especially around the time of my divorce, he gained a lot of weight, and we're just never really passionate about anything physical. And then just completely on his own. I mean, I've given him all the tools, but just on his own, he decided he wanted to get in shape. And then he told me, he's like, I want to compete. And so his 15th birthday was October 15th, and my show was the 18th. And so it lined up perfectly because the WNBF really doesn't want people competing under 15. So that was and he jumped on stage, and I was just so proud of him. He's actually competing at the Mayhem on Saturday. I'll be so happy when this prep is over for him because I hate seeing him starving and mood. Just basically everything I went through in my first prep, or even my hardest prep was my 2018 prep. All of those things, all those memories, I'm like having flashbacks watching him just literally dying. So I'm excited for him to be finished and go back to turbo bulking.
Yeah. At least you can
bless him.
empathize a little bit with him being like moody and grumpy, and you
Yeah,
get
I
it
was getting
more than most
emotional on
parents
stage
would.
'cause I was an MC, and I'm announcing, oh, my son Christian Elkins, and like reading his bio and like saying like reading what he was thankful for, and he was saying like his mom and my wife and his sister, and like I was just like a beautiful moment. So that's something I'll never forget.
How you guys, I think, Josh, you brought about an interesting point in regards to like almost dipping your toe in and kind of avoiding that. And I think that highlights something that I like generally. Yeah, I can see both sides to it, but generally I'm like, hey, I like a maybe 10, 8-year drug-free policy, because for people that do something like accidental like that, then you're forcing them to either be like, right, I can't compete naturally because it's drug-free for life. And, but now they've got an opportunity if they wait that 10 years, 8 years, whatever it is, or I don't even know if there's opportunities for people to email the kind of people that run the shows and be like, hey, this is something stupid I did back in the past. It might flag up somewhere, but will you hear me out at least? So yeah, Josh, it feels, I think you're on the same page as me, that you feel like it helps overall.
I feel like as well, based off of where I've been brought up, and you meet the people that, say you're 14, you go to the gym for the first time and you're first introduction to fitness is an IFBB pro that's competed at multiple Olympias, you're going to think that that's the only route because it's the biggest guy in the gym. It's the most impressive. If that individual was to jump on something, let's say D-ball or even take Claire Nanavar, whatever, in the first couple of years of their training, and then they don't do anything from like the age of 16, I don't know, for the following 5 years or whatever, and then they want to open the box of competing, they're going to feel as though that the only option that they've got is to jump on even more gear. So yeah, I think there needs to be some kind of, or my ideal would be like a 10-year drug-free, or, you know, kind of providing some clarity on what it is that you've done. You know, did you take Clen on the run up to a lad's holiday? Is that going to have an effect on you 7 years later? Probably not.
Yeah, well, so I think the things that are not anabolic, there should be a much shorter amnesty period. It shouldn't be a big deal. I as a pure, you know, I have mixed feelings obviously as a purist. Like I feel like how these gains, these satellite cells, whatever, like some can last forever, right? So but I think 10 years is fair. Obviously, you don't want to exclude someone for life. As nice as it would be for everyone to be lifetime natural, I think it's unrealistic. You know, at the same time, you want to grow the sport and you want to keep the promotion healthy and have more athletes and, you know, more people inspiring other people to stay natural. So there's a lot more that goes into it, I guess. But I mean, you know, if Jay Cutler decided he wanted to be a WNBF pro, that's probably not fair, right? Like I feel like he could win a world title right now.
There's obviously extremities in there, you know.
Right? Like,
I
don't know, but
like a bit of a case by case.
Yeah, I think 10 years is fair, but I also think if somebody did like one, you know, like 2 weeks of TRT and realized it wasn't for them, then I feel like 10 years might be extreme because that's not, while it is anabolic, it's not like it's putting them to super physiological levels by taking 2 doses of TRT and realizing that they don't want to do this for the rest of their life. Maybe 3 years is more reasonable for a situation like that, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I have a personal perspective on it because I was on TRT for, I don't know how long, in around a year, because I had a head injury. So it was like therapeutic use. When I was 20 years old, I got hit by a van. That's where Revive Stronger comes from, if you don't know the story of the name. So yeah, I ended up going on that to kind of get my normal levels back up because of the head injury, and then I managed to come off because I found Matt Ogus and I was like, I want to compete in natural bodybuilding. Doc, can I come off this stuff? He was like, most people in your sort of situation, I mean, it was a bit unique because it was a weird head injury. It was like most people, once they're on it, they kind of have to be on it for life because your natural levels kind of die off or whatever, you know, they just downregulate. Right. Yeah, but I could sustain low levels like naturally, but so I reached out to a number of federations like the year after that in the UK to see if I could compete, and a couple were like, yes, so long as you have a doctor's note, maybe some blood work, whatever, that you were taking it. And I think the key for me was I was taking it for like health reasons, not for performance reasons. Right. That always feels weird though in like a polygraph, because I'm like, I know it had performance benefits. At the time I was just like kind of a kid, like, hey, I don't have a libido and I can't grow body hair.
All of the questions are like for bodybuilding purposes, you know, that's the key to those questions. But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Like the WNBF used to be 7 years, I think, and then it was 8, and then now it's 10. And there's not another organization that has, as far as I know, that has that 10-year ban. But I agree. Like I think the
NPA, Chris, in case you didn't know, the NPA is lifetime. Have you ever took anything?
I love that. I'll go compete there.
I have competed with the NPA. They allowed a therapeutic exemption. They polygraphed me, I think my second season competing with them. It was like, that was my first experience with a polygraph. I was like, fuck, this is intense. It was like
the NGA, I've heard, actually allows TRT for certain circumstances, like actively, as long as you keep your levels below. And I'm like, that's very unfair, you know. I've heard different things like that, you know. So I don't know. Definitely think the WNBF is trying to do the right thing for the most part, in my opinion. I'm not just saying that because I'm a WNBF promoter. There's a lot of things I don't agree with, but that's one of them I think they are trying to do their best with.
Yeah, I think it's hard to be black and white with these things, as in a perfect world we'd like to be. But I think, as Josh said, there has to be like a case by case. like check people out. If you'd seen me at 20 years old or 21, my physique then was nothing where you'd be like, oh, this guy's abusing TRT. You'd be like, okay, like he looks like he could do it a bit more, to be honest. So yeah, I'm grateful, because I don't know what would have happened for me if everyone was just like, nah, like they just closed all the doors. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, and your physique has really, like, I mean, to me, it's incredible how you've grown over the years. You know, it's like a
Yeah,
test.
better, a lot better,
Consistent.
many just years apart from having done that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like two different people, honestly.
And that would have, yeah, exactly. Like I would never have been where I am right now. I don't think, if I could have competed that year. So I'm grateful that there is like not such like just complete black and white rules with these things, and people can, yeah, be a bit more open-minded towards it. And yeah, it's just unfortunate there are cheats who will try and swindle things, but I do think very often it's clear when that's happening. And ultimately, I come back to what you were saying, Josh, when Chris asked you about, hey, what if there are people on the Ben Weeders, or do you think that there's going to be guys who aren't natural? And you're just like, hey, if they are, I'm still just going to try and beat them, because ultimately, like, it doesn't change your life if one guy there is enhanced. Like, it's unlikely to, at least.
Well, it changes.
You
his
can only
life
control
if I
you.
beat him, and then he's not doesn't, you know what I mean, get the victory that he
If
deserves.
they beat me, I might feel differently. It's like the
Josh, how has this prep been compared to previous preps? Any differences or any insight?
oh, goodness me, this prep has been significantly longer, significantly more challenging, and I've had a lot more on my plate than any other year. But I can't complain. I cannot complain. I've enjoyed every day. Not enjoyed every minute. I've learned so much, and I feel like I've relearned myself as an individual, because, you know, it's really easy to love this game when you're winning. And besides
true.
one show, I've not won any other shows. So I've done 6 shows so far this year. I've won 1. I've placed 6th. I've placed 4th. I've placed 3rd. And I've placed 2nd twice. Like, there's a lot of losing there. And every single day post-show, I've woke up, I've had my breakfast, I've weighed myself, and I've just got on with the process, because I fucking love the process.
That's
So,
beautiful. I
yeah,
love it.
I've learned so much about me. It's been great.
Yeah,
It's been hard, but it's been great.
that's awesome. I like that reflection. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like to consider it losing. You know, 2nd place is really
Yeah.
solid. You know, these are some
I get
amazing.
the
Yeah.
mentality, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're a grinder. You're a gamer.
Mate, look, you'll be the same. 2023, right? When you're coming off the back of a world's win, you expect
Mhm.
every show to be a tap-in. You know, like, oh, I'm going to win. I'm the best in the world. Like, an element of that. Obviously, I've never ever said that, but a little bit of,
Oh, I've
look,
said that.
I am meant to be the standard. Surely, I'm going to get
Yeah.
rewarded. And then you step on stage and you don't. You
Mhm.
know, there's a lot of learning that comes with that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and you're also only 28 years old. I feel like you have still untapped potential. 28 is so young in this game.
I
Coming
promise you,
from
mate.
someone 41, I could be a father.
You probably, I mean, 13 years old.
Yeah, a little young, a little young, a little young.
I wouldn't mind you being my dad, mate.
This prep has been almost like any other prep. I just did less cardio this time. I've only done like maybe 4 cardio sessions. I've played a lot of poker. I've focused a lot on my other athletes. You know, like Fuzi. I've started working with him. He's just competed his first show, and he's doing the mayhem as well, trying to get that pro card. We launched a coaching business together. It's called G7 Mindset. So he's the mindset, you know, the motivator, the marketer, and then I'm the guy actually doing the, you know, training and nutrition behind it, and the weekly check-ins and everything. So that's been exciting, because you know, when you're doing the same thing for, like, I've been doing coaching full time since like 2016. It's been not, you know, I love it. I love working. A lot of these people like, oh, you need to scale and you need to bring in other coaches and do this. And like, I like working with my people one-on-one. It's me. I like to spend the majority of my time doing the client part of it. And the marketing is just, you know, I let Instagram do it. And I, you know, like, I've never bought ads, or it's all organic and stuff. And I enjoy that. And so it's been cool being the the other person in this role with Yusuf. We just started actually in the beginning of October. And it's, it's going great so far. And but I've been really locked in on playing poker as my very semi-professionally, I would say. And it's been I've played since 2003, but this is the first year that I've really said I have a specific goal of X amount of money, of X amount of success. And I've been studying like crazy, the same amount of effort that I put into bodybuilding, I put into playing poker this year. Last year it was
Wow.
Fortnite, but I realized I wasn't going to
Transferable
go
skills.
far enough in that. So now it's like I always have to have something where I need to try to become the best in the world at. And I feel like this is my 2013 of bodybuilding, where I just was getting into it, where I was always in the gym off and on throughout my whole life, but never became super consistent until that time. And that is where I feel like I'm at right now in poker. And so in 10 years, I hope to be multiple world champion. That's what it took me in bodybuilding. 10 years, I became the world champion. So I believe in 10 years, I'll be one of the best of all time. Here we go.
Do you know what, Chris? You just never know what you're going to come out with next.
Bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally last year, I was trying to become the best at Fortnite, but it was just, it's a young man's game. So we need to talk about
But you are 25 years old, mate. So
that's, and actually, out of it, both of you have been coached previously, but are currently not coached, right? You're self-coaching through these preps.
Yeah, I've been coaching myself since 2018, basically.
I've had a really weird one coaching wise. The only time that I've truly worked with a coach, I had a friend that I made on Instagram help me with my first prep in 2019. He filled me up with dandelion root and vitamin C, and absolutely killed me off. So I wouldn't really class him as a coach. He taught me a lot, but it was more like lessons rather than education.
Things not to do.
Yeah. And then in 2021, I went through a stage of placing second at 4 shows in a row, and I was putting a lot of effort in, probably a little bit too much effort, and I weren't quite getting the rewards that I felt that I deserved. So I started working with AJ Morris for the rest of that prep when I won my WMBF Pro card, and then placed 3rd in the Worlds. And then since then, I've done everything off my own bike. My fiance is very fitness minded. She's not a bodybuilder by any stretch, but she knows so much about bodybuilding and she knows so much about my body that I've basically bounced ideas off of her throughout every phase for the last 3.5 years. And we've got a formula that works, and we push it as far as we need to push it, and we're a great team because obviously I trust her wholeheartedly, and she knows me. So yeah, I'd say that I'm part self-coached but part coached by my fiance, who's a Pilates instructor and has never stepped on stage in her life.
I think that's awesome.
It's a good dynamic.
Yeah. That's like Samson, right? His wife does all has been coaching him. And I think
I've
if you
heard,
have that
same thing
person,
with Keon right now too, is
oh really,
girlfriend or whatever.
It doesn't surprise me because, especially at that level, if you've got an eye for it, if they've been able to educate
and who's
themselves
with you
on
24/7 besides your significant other,
to see the physique. But if I got my partner of over 10 years now to try and be like, am I peaked? I'm like, how do I look? Am I flat? Am I full? She'd be like, I have fucking no idea. She knows a lot because she hears me talk about it all day, but she's not good at seeing how I look. She's just like, you look great.
My
so
wife
you have to have that special person.
She prepares pretty much all of my food, which is nice.
Nice.
She's like, what's your remaining macros? And she'll put together a meal that hits the macros spot on. So that makes my life so much easier. But yeah, no, I couldn't ask her am I looking flat or something. I would just, I wouldn't get an objective opinion. So I take a lot of pictures and really just try to go with how I feel as well as almost as important as how you look. Cause sometimes it's it takes time, right? To if I feel flat, I might not look flat yet, but I know I'm going to, so I think that just getting to know your body is so important. And every year I feel like I get to know my body a little bit more. But I'm definitely nervous. Like I said, I haven't decided yet. Am I going to deplete today or tomorrow? I got to really sit down and look at my
Put your coaching hat
look at
on.
my
Yeah.
self in the mirror,
Gonna
the
say,
weight.
it sounds like you need a coach, bro.
Yeah, I know. Life would be easier if I had one.
But I guess for both of you, well, obviously, Josh, you mentioned your partner, you've got her in your corner to be able to help you. I'm guessing you also have connections, like we're all coaches in this space and know a lot of people. If we threw them a photo, they'd be able to give us some input that would be pretty helpful. I'm guessing you have similar, like you mentioned, Matt's
Yeah.
like 10 minutes from you, Chris.
Oh, for me, yeah, this is the problem though, is I ask people, like in 2023, I was asking people and they're just all like, "Oh yeah, you look great." You know, that's the problem. It's like, well, I need you to tell me that I'm fucking
You need
spilling
someone to put
over. I think in my opinion, I spilled a bit in 2023, which is rarely ever happened to me. But it was we went on a lot later in the day. I was very worried about flattening out, and it was very stressful too. I had 4 pro physique guys that I was coaching, and they were in the house with me, and it was every 10 minutes people asking me how do I look, how do I look, and then trying to get any feedback from them because I just felt like I looked terrible, and then they're like, no, you look great. So I just stuck with the plan, and I should have zigged when I zagged, and but that's you live and you live and you learn. And the
That's
only
it.
unfortunate thing was I was coming off of a previous world championship, so that made it sting a little more. And I think getting 4th and not top 3 is prize money. There's all these things that factored in that kind of were disappointing, but it's all right. We're here now. Life is a journey.
Yeah.
You mentioned something I think that's really great there is you don't want too many voices because it's like that the guy that copy and pastes the same question to Chris, Josh, and like every coach out there
And get
you're
3
like,
different
damn
answers.
guy, like exactly, he's just going to be confused or just pick the one that he likes and it's just going to confirm his bias. Do you guys ever find that with like sharing your journey on social media? Like I know Josh, you've shared quite a bit of like your journey so far. I don't know if Chris, you've shared as much like physique updates and stuff, but how's that been for you, Josh?
It used to affect me, but I think, by living and by trusting myself and my gut, I don't care what a lot of people's opinions are of my physique. I used to get the comments like, "Oh yeah, oh you look flat," and then that'd be it immediately. I'll go and refeed. When really, actually, my body can run flat for quite a long time and still be recoverable. Like, it did used to affect me, but not anymore. I know the game. I coach a lot of people at every level, and I know what I'm looking at now. I know what signs to be aware of, and I know how to rectify any kind of mistakes that I made. So yeah, not anymore, but definitely years ago, I would have
Yeah, I can
been
see that.
very, very sensitive to it.
You the same, Chris?
I mean, I feel like I've gotten a little burnt out with content creation because it's the same thing. When this is like my 10th prep, it's like a little difficult to I know every day there's new people, so they would love the new. To them, it's new, but to me, it's a rerun, and it's a rerun, and it's the same thing. And so, but I definitely miss doing the YouTube vlogs. I feel like I definitely want to start creating content again, but it needs to be something that I'm like passionate about making content about, and whether that's like a mix of the other hobbies plus fitness and weaving them together. It's just I feel a bit stifled when it comes to my creativity at the moment. Hopefully I can overcome that. I just feel like it's been a year of me mainly posting about the injury, about my life updates, like getting married, my wife is pregnant, these important things that people love to see as well. But I do miss the educating and entertaining, the fitness side of it, which I'm doing a little bit less of. Just simply a lack of creativity at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, it's made me think, like you talking about that lack of creativity and obviously going down different like side projects. Josh, you mentioned you feel like this might be nearing the end for you. What do you have thoughts of where you will go? Because obviously, I guess competing and you being competitive and your physique is part of what draws business potentially.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on how that might impact things, or are you just like, hey, no, I'll be able to just be a coach like a Cliff Wilson who hasn't competed in years and like is just
They'll
a
post old
roster
pics
that
for the
develops
next
itself.
10 years.
Yeah, I've got plenty
Cliff
of
does
photos,
post some old
mate.
pics.
Yeah, just keep recycling every 9 months. What's the plan for me? Well, I would like to think that my coaching is getting into a position where I don't need to compete to remain relevant. My athletes are fantastic. You know, the standard of my team is just it'll carry my relevance through. I'm certain of it. But I've got other interests outside of bodybuilding. In 4 weeks time now, me and my fiance, we're opening a Pilates studio in Leeds.
wow.
So we live in
Awesome.
we live in Sheffield at the minute. We're moving an hour away to go and start this new project. I obviously want to continue to grow my coaching. But I've just got a few little things that I'm like, if I was competing every 2 years, I'll have a really productive year of starting things, of growing things, of, being on it on a growth front. And then I'll have a year of basically treading water, stagnating, because, while ever I'm doing cardio, trying to sleep as much as I possibly can, it's taken away from other areas of my life that I would
Right.
rather be putting effort
Productivity-wise.
into. So it's like, at the minute with competing, it's like, yeah, I'm great. I'm getting that like enjoyment of competing, but there's also like an element of frustration within me that's like, I wish I had more mental capacity for these other things going on in my life. So for me now, it's like weighing up what's going to make me happiest. And it might be that I go 3, 4, 5 years away from competing and put effort
Make
into other things, and then go, actually, I really do enjoy competing still, or want to do it. I'm going to do it. But equally at the same time, these things might take a while to get going, and I'll have an opportunity in 2 years' time to run it back and, try and get that Ben Weider win. I'm very fluid with it all, but I think like going off of how I'm feeling right now, there's more things that are getting me excited for the future than competing.
Yeah, I think it's well said. I've had the question put to me before where it's like, oh, when I turned pro, did I suddenly get a load more business? I was like, it changed nothing. Like it didn't impact business at all. In fact, like you said, competing probably just actually hurt business because I don't have the mental bandwidth to be able to put in as much time and effort into kind of
For
all
sure.
the business side of things.
Content definitely drives business. Competing provides some content, but I have trouble creating content when I'm like brain dead. So
It's
a
such a double-edged sword. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Twins. Yeah.
So
You
here's
have
my
to
question.
outsource the vlog.
What do you think I should do?
mate.
Should I try to get shoulder surgery again next year? Should I just say fuck it and this is my body and now I can only do bench press and horizontal rows and we don't need vertical and we can still build a good physique and compete again next year? Or take a year off and just see how much I could rehab without surgery, or maybe try stem cell? What would you guys do if you were me?
Oh, I'd probably ask myself the question, how much money am I making from poker? If that is 6 figures or above, I would maybe make an argument that you don't need to compete next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, competing
I'd
doesn't really
agree.
pay me anything. It costs money, like you
Yeah.
said. I mean, I'm still coaching. I'm getting the more exposure that I get with like my clients, like with Fuzi or these other high profile, like I've working with a couple different poker players now that want to get in shape, that have huge social media followings and cult-like followings, and there's a lot of fat
That's
people that
the
play
market,
poker.
mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
High
going to be
ticket
terrible
market.
clients. I already know they're not going to be great clients. They need too much flexibility, like.
It'd be
But I
fun,
mean, I
though.
just won a tournament a few weeks ago for 60K USD, and then another one this last weekend for 13,000. And I
Wow.
really do believe that I have like the ability. It's not if I put my and this is while I'm in prep and my brain does not work perfectly during these times. But I'll tell you one thing is I posted on my story the other day is that you burn a lot more calories while you're thinking and your heart rate goes up and down a lot. It's almost like doing a form of HIIT
When
without
there's that
moving.
much money on the
Like,
line.
yeah. So it's
I'm sweating thinking about 60K, mate.
Oh yeah. Well, first place was 180. I got fourth, so I was pretty bummed, honestly. But I was very happy about the money. In hindsight, I really thought I was going to win that tournament. And same thing. I took third, not this weekend that just passed, but last weekend in Tahoe. First place was 30K. I got third. I had 60% of the chips in play with 4 people left, and somehow I finished third. So I was pretty bummed about that as well. But there's a lot of variance at the end of these tournaments. So Yeah. So like I'm actually have a schedule now where I'm like, okay, I have to compete this weekend, but then next week I'm going to go to Reno and play in 2 events. And then I have Worlds the weekend after that. But then after Worlds, I'm going to Vegas for the win. So like I have, yeah, it's just, I feel like I'm in I feel so grateful and blessed that I'm able to pursue these things at a high level, both, at the same time for now, but who knows, hopefully even higher level in the future.
I think you've answered your own question there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
But
you know when
I
you
mean,
talk, Chris, do you know when you talk about poker, you light up,
Mhm.
right? I wouldn't think that you're a few days out from a show because you just get this new energy. Chase that.
Yeah.
Whatever's
No,
giving you
you're
this
right.
energy, chase it.
Yep.
The gambling is addictive. And now the warnings come in.
Yeah, well, I don't play
Everyone, gambleaware.org.uk.
I don't play blackjack. I don't play roulette or craps. I only play against other people, in the game of poker, which again, yeah, you can definitely lose. Like leading up to this run where I've cashed a little over 75K, I was, down 5 figures prior to that. But that's variance. There's a lot of variance in poker.
But you're net
Yeah.
positive.
Oh, way up for the year. Yeah.
Good.
But not at
But
my
you're
goal.
also,
Congrats.
My goal for
I
the
didn't
year
even
is actually
gamble in
6
Vegas.
figures, so I'm a little over halfway. But I only started in June, so started playing again in June. Like I used to, there's a YouTube video that I uploaded. I was on TV in 2005 for poker, so I've been playing this a long time. But it's just like the gym for me, where I was like inconsistent for years. I would go in, I'd work out for 2 months, and then stop for a year, and then I did that for a long time, and then finally 2012 came along and I said, yeah, I'm going to bulk. I'm going to hire a coach. I'm going to do a show. And then 10 years later, world champion. And then that's in my mind, it might take 10 years, but I think I can make a good living in the meantime doing it. But then I want to be like Uber level success.
Dan Blitzerian level.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know that he's that good. I think that's like a money laundering thing, but
Fair. All right. Okay. Maybe not that level.
yeah.
Chris, so your goal obviously is to win the overall at WNBF Worlds. Do you
Of
think that
course.
will impact your future? Have you thought about
Well,
about what happens if you don't or if you do? Or...
I don't necessarily know. You never know, right? Everyone looks amazing at this level, especially. But if I beat Hator, like how do I not? Like he won the overall last year. If I beat him, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to want to take a year off or hard to step away. I would love to get my shoulder fixed because I don't want to go the rest of my life with having this like not even kidding. It's a struggle sometimes to put luggage in the overhead bin on a flight. That's annoying that I'm only 41 years old and I'm dealing with this type of like. The problem is, even if I get surgery again, it might not make it better. It could potentially also make it worse. Like there's arthritis. There's just issues with comes with wear and tear and age. And I was in the Marines, so that factors. I get disability actually for the shoulder now. So I mean, I always have actually, but now it's worse. So I don't know, man. We'll see. If I beat Hator, regardless of how if I win the overall or win even the short class, I mean, Adal's looking crazy. I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see. I'll do my best. First of all, the most important thing is I have to win on Saturday. If I don't win Saturday, it's like the Jeremy Buendia. Like if he didn't win the Washington, I don't know if you follow the IFBB. If he didn't win the Washington show, Olympia was just probably just going to be a participation award basically. And so I need to. There's a guy named Raymond who looks really good. He's competing on Saturday as well. I need to win on Saturday.
Okay. I got you. Well, it sounds like some life periodization could happen, let the shoulder relax a little bit, earn some money via poker. Yeah. Guys, I'm going to finish on one question now. Thank you so much for your time in this. And hopefully there's a moment that comes to mind. I think this could be a good question to ask, but I'll ask you first, Josh. What's the hardest moment you've had as a bodybuilder or men's physique competitor, mentally or physically, and how did you get through it?
Ooh. I would say my hardest moment in natural men's physique competing has happened this year. Coming off the back of the Worlds win. I don't know if you remember, Steve, but when I won my pro card, it was the first ever Supernaturals. It was the first ever UK or WNBF UK show. And heading into the pro show this year, I saw that as like, that's my show. I've put, God, nearly 100 clients on that stage. I'm the reigning, world champ. That's my baby. And I, for whatever reason, I'm not in the business of making excuses for myself, but it was a 2-day show. I had clients on both days. I had a lot of moving around when I should have been sat down. I missed a lot of meals when I really shouldn't have. And I stepped on that stage, or even when I was starting to pump up, and I was like, this isn't mine. And that feeling of I've lost already, it was an absolute crusher. And I stepped out on stage next to the two best guys in the class, Dario and Jovan, and I thought, what have I done here? I've really dropped the ball. And first call out happened. It was a top 6 and I was in it. And then then redid the first call out and it was the top 5 and I weren't in it. And I was stood on the side of the stage on my own. And literally, I have cried maybe 3 times as an adult. And that was one of them. I had one tear. I was like, this fucking stings so much. And how did I overcome it? Well, I woke up the next morning. I asked myself, what is it that I do this for? I love the training. I love the regimen. I love the progression. And I don't do it for the competing. I think I thought that I did, but I don't. I do it because I love the process of being a bodybuilder. So it hurt, and it hurt so much. But that pain has now provided me with even more purpose in my own bodybuilding. So I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change that pain, even though it was fucking painful at the time.
Yeah, man. I could imagine that being really painful, especially, we both competed 2021 in the first Supernaturals there. And I mean, I've experienced much more loss than I think both of you guys. So I definitely feel it in terms of being stood at the back of the stage and everything there. But you took it exactly on the chin. It only feels like I kind of like it that way, because sometimes you can start a season. Actually, my last season was kind of that way. I turned pro and then I lost the pro show and I came like really low in the WNBF world in the pro ranks. And obviously it's a completely different level. Like you said, everyone pro is amazing, but it kind of just felt like I was the best and then just went downhill. Whereas for you, it feels like, hey, you kind of had like a gutter punch at the start of the season. But from here on, I mean, I've seen your physique and obviously I judged you at the WNBF UK show. And I mean, if you brought some of the packages that you've had later in the season on that stage, I mean, I think you'd certainly be placing much higher than where you were in the end. And that, I think, is a massive win to have been able to fail, but not let that just crush you and let everything get worse.
But I also think that makes it hurt worse. Hearing that makes it hurt worse, because knowing like you could have, you know what I mean? But at the same time, do you want to be that lean that early in the season?
No. No. Right. What do I want most? If you'd have said to me at the start of this year, what's the dream? My dream's an IFBB pro card.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that loss has now made me so much more competitive for now. So again, I wouldn't have changed it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
And respect to you for putting yourself on so many stages and giving yourself opportunities to fail, but also opportunities to succeed. Because I see competitors who, they just come off one stage and they don't get the placing they want, and they're like, oh, I'm going to cancel that show, I'm pulling out. It's like, you don't know, like, put in better effort. Like, you don't know how the judge is going to look at you. You don't know who's going to turn up. So yeah, I really appreciate that story, Josh.
Thank you, mate. It's one of the main reasons why I did it. I want to be able to turn around to my clients and go, look what I've done. Just trust me. Like, failing has so much value. It's untrue. So don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
true. How about yourself, Chris? What's been your kind of hardest moment?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of ups and downs in this game over the years. I think, one of the ones that obviously stands out the most is a week before Worlds in New York in 2019, I had the intestinal volvulus where my intestines just randomly decided to get in a knot. Went to the ER late at night, and I was there for a full day before they decided to cut me open. And so seeing this like huge incision right through my, at the time, perfectly symmetrical abs, like everything was like, I have an untouched, no tattoos, no like crazy scars, and I have this huge incision. And I didn't know how it was going to heal. But I did know that, I'm going to come back from this, no matter what. So I prepped in 2020, and then everything was canceled, so I ended up doing, which was actually a blessing in disguise, because I ended up doing an NPC show, did really well, qualified for nationals, went to nationals, got fourth out of a 20-something person lineup, so like 2 spots from my IFBB pro card, competing against, this is before they didn't have natural NPC. There was no natural path to an IFBB pro card at the time. So this is like, it felt really amazing to do that. And then I'm like, that's, I felt like 2019, I had just got into the men's physique division, and I felt like it was for me. Like I was going to be the standard. That's how I felt. And so when I prepped in 2021 and the world was in Vegas and COVID was, getting behind us in, a little bit, I was like, all right, this is my year. I know that I'm going to win this. Like I already knew I won every single US show. Arizona, the Phoenician Classic, Monster Mash, every single one. And then I show up to Worlds thinking that like there's no way anyone can possibly beat me. I've researched all the guys. I've looked at all their posing. I've adjusted my posing. I've done this. I've done that. And then a guy stands completely sideways and beats me by 1 point. I was furious. I was like, to me, that was the hardest hit I've ever taken. Like, how do I not win this? And then he goes on to win the overall. And I'm like, that was my overall. That was me. That was supposed to be me. And then, and then I came back and won in 2022. So it's fine. That's like that's all But in my mind, I could have won 19, 20, 21. Could have been a 4-time world champion right now in my mind. And that was, and I truly believe like that was a prime. Like that was the best Chris Elkins, the hardest working, the most fired up, like most passionate about this, entire process. And my personal life was in shambles at the time. I had gone through a divorce. My relationship I was in was toxic. It was terrible. So this was my all. This was like, this is the thing keeping me sane. Like having this ground, driving force, keeping me level and grounded while there's like a literal tornado going on in my life. That was the thing that, so at the end of the day, this is a happy ending. I'm happy with everything that I've achieved so far.
Sounds like a complete journey, like ups and downs, but upward trajectory generally. And yeah, bodybuilding is definitely an anchor for me as well. And it's like, I think probably the same for you. Josh said it basically, like we don't train and diet in a certain way to compete. The competing is because we love the lifestyle of bodybuilding and being natural and not taking health risks and kind of fueling.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be a little bit of masochist though, to
yes,
really like this,
Definitely to get to the level of condition that's required, especially for men's physique nowadays, and also to push yourself to that level in the gym.
They experience pain when they're training for the marathon, when they're doing the marathon. Our marathon is 4 to 5 months long, and it's every single day, like the pain, of like the hunger, the restriction, the training that sucks, all of it is in, I mean, something sick in us to make us love this so much. Josh, what's wrong with you? Why do you love this so much?
I love it. I love it. All them things that you just reeled off then, I was like, yeah, let's go. Hunger, training.
It's the yin and yang, right? It like the bad makes you appreciate the good. Without without the darkness, there is no sun. Like that sort of thing.
Food tastes way better. I mean,
yeah, true.
How good,
guys.
It tastes.
I've had you for an hour and a half. I think we could probably talk for another like 2-3 hours, but I appreciate you guys are both in prep, so probably need to get some food in or sleep or rest or train or whatever it is. But I appreciate your time. If people want to follow along your journeys, this actually will probably come out after, unfortunately, both of you have competed. So we'll see where you fare. But if people want to keep up to date with off-season and look at where you place and all those good things, where should they head? Josh, if you want to start.
So Instagram is Josh Croggon _. I've got a pretty active YouTube. I've actually got loads of really good content coming out over the next few weeks. So this is a great time for this podcast to go live to all your wonderful listeners. And I have my own podcast called the Board Shorts and Banter Podcast, which you boys are going to have to come on because we will ask a lot more, I don't want to say shady, but colourful questions. Yeah. So yeah, you can find me everywhere.
Yeah, amazing. I'll make sure that's linked.
Instagram as well, Chris _Elkins, ELKINS, and I stay pretty active and update on the stories and in the DM. So if you have any questions about any of this or any of it resonated with you and you want to know more, just hit me up.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, it'll be linked in the description, all that information so people can follow along and catch up with you guys. And thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.